Hey, business building warrior, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio, the only podcast in the whole e commerce universe that features story after story after story of students who are succeeding using the ideas taught on the podcast. That's pretty cool, right? Because if we're going to claim that we can help you grow a beautiful business, wouldn't it make sense that we're going to bring a bunch of people on our show that have built beautiful businesses? Well, that's what we do here. Today's no exception. You're going to meet Mr. Ben Ricker here in just a moment. I'm going to bring him on. A young man in his mid 20s, I've learned. He's recently graduated from college. He's got a bit of a business degree background, but man, he's making some cool things happen with his Amazon and e commerce business. He's been in our community for a few years. He's a proven Amazon course student as well as a coaching student who talks very openly about both of them and how much they helped him on his journey. There's links to both of those, by the way, at silentjimdotcom. So you can see all of our past podcast episodes, even the ones that aren't posted on YouTube. If you're watching this today, there's a lot of them that are audio only. And you can also get a link to our course, Proven Amazon course, which has helped thousands of students launch beautiful businesses, and our coaching program. And if you didn't know this, you can go to silentjim.com, click on the coaching link, get on our calendar, have a very friendly, low pressure, no pressure phone call conversation where we talk about your e-commerce future. How does e-commerce and building a real business online fit into your story? We'd love to have a conversation with you about that. We are so thrilled about the opportunities that are out there. Not everyone's positioned to be a coaching student on our team. Some people just need some free content like this podcast, our free Facebook group, where, by the way, we've got about 74,000 business building warriors from around the world all day, every day, hanging out, encouraging each other. We've got an abundance mindset, which means we see success as something that as many people can have that want it. So we don't see you as a threat or a competitor. We see you as someone that we're rooting for because you've got unique connections, ideas, experiences, networks, opportunities, and things that you can bring to the table that we will never have otherwise unless you come be a part of our community. So we'd love to have you there. We don't see you as someone who's a threat. Come be a part of our big Facebook group. Again, there's a link at silentjim.com to that as well. But today's guest, Ben, it was a delight getting to know him. He's actually a coach on our team now as well. Very recently brought on as a coach. So I always love getting to know the coaches on a podcast episode as we bring them on. Our community has grown large enough now. We've got over 60 coaches that quite often my first opportunity to get to know a coach who's been vetted through our system is having a podcast episode with them. So that's kind of what we did today, which may sound weird. Here's how we find our coaches. It's students who are succeeding with the Proven Amazon course or through our coaching program. They've demonstrated a high level of competence and achievement over an extended period of time. And they've got a teacher's heart. They love teaching others what it is that they know, the journey that they've been on. They love sharing and helping others take a similar journey. That's how we find our coaches. They're interviewed, they're vetted, we talk to them several different points. And then once they're ready and on the team, well, that's when I get in and I have a short call with them and typically invite them on maybe to a podcast episode. And that's what happened today. So this is me getting to know, along with you, one of our new coaches and his story. He's doing really well. Like I said, he's only working 3 to 5 hours a week on his business. He's got some great virtual assistants in the Philippines that do most of the heavy lifting, as is taught in our content. We strongly encourage, if anything's repetitive or tedious, once you've got a process built, man, turn it over to somebody else who's eager and excited to work for just a few dollars per hour around the world. You can find people with competence and they're going to do it better than you ever did because that's their job. We love seeing people leverage the opportunity of hiring people from other cultures where the dollar goes so much further than it does in Western cultures. The US dollar is a very powerful tool that's very underutilized by a lot of e-commerce business owners because they think they got to do it all themselves. You don't have to. For example, you'll hear me mention in the show today, but I just want to tell you now since I brought up the topic, so maybe it sticks. You've never heard this before. In the Philippines, the average hourly wage is about $1 per hour. People working really hard, getting up really early in the morning, 2-hour commute to their job. $1 per hour US is the pay. Coming home exhausted at the end of a long day. In many cases, these are people who speak English. They've got a lot of technology skills. They'd be very helpful and useful and enthusiastically work as part of your team online for $2, $3, $4 per hour. You're paying them 2, 3, 4 times minimum wage. That is a massive opportunity for them. They can feed their whole family and have a great living arrangement for just a few dollars per hour working full time for maybe one of the people in our community like you who's building a business using the strategies we teach. So as you listen to that part of his story, just kind of key into how powerful that is as well of an opportunity for you to work just a few hours per week, have a great team that's doing some great things, building a beautiful business. All business involves work. It involves risk. It involves commitment, dedication, always learning new things, meeting new people. There's no set it and forget it, push button business out there. If you think that's what we're talking about here, we don't have that here. What we do have is a system that's worked time and time and time again for, well, hundreds of students that you've heard on our podcast. We've got about 1,900 success posts in our free Facebook group that I told you about earlier. There's a link at silentjimdotcom to that. Come join us. But enjoy this episode. Thanks for being a part of our community. One last mini announcement, The Proven Conference. Go to this website, theprovenconference.com. That's 3 words, The Proven Conference, May 23rd through 25th of 2024. We want you there. There's going to be hundreds of listeners to this podcast joining us. A bunch of people already have their tickets, the early birds. Tickets go on sale very, very soon at a discount. And then the ticket price starts climbing from there. So pay attention to that website, get on our mailing list, and grab your tickets when they go on sale. VIP will sell out. It sells out every year. This is our 12th year doing it. Every time we've sold out VIP. So if you want that and all the additional benefits that are listed on the site, be sure to snag that right when tickets go on sale. All right. God bless you, business building warrior. Let's jump over, have a chat with Ben. So Ben, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio.
Awesome. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Really looking forward to learning more about you. And I already talked about you a little bit in the introduction, but man, just excited to jump into your story. So let's go.
Hey, yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, so I guess as far as making money online, kind of my first introduction to making money online was in 2019. I had a college course that fall where it was kind of the focus of the semester that they were talking about was drop shipping. That was like the first introduction to making money online, which I didn't know anything about that. I tried it out as like part of the class and everything. Didn't really get anywhere specifically with it, but at least like introduced me to the idea that wow, you can go online and make money and
Now,
everything.
that was a college class?
Yeah. So that was a college class. So we had
Really?
Yeah. So we had a professor.
What school was this?
So that was BYU in Utah.
Okay.
And
Wow,
so
man, I need to talk to them. They're talking about drop shipping. I gotta help them
and
out.
I don't know. It's probably evolved at some point. They're probably doing
Yeah.
something else now. I mean, I know
When
that
was
landscape.
this?
That was 2019. So
2019.
fall of 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 years or so.
Yeah. And I'm sure, I mean, the landscape has evolved since then. So, I mean, I'm sure they're talking about something else right now, but yeah, you should go talk to the department or something. They might.
Yeah, well, because we are in some colleges with our content. And one of the first things we teach new students, as I'm sure you've probably heard me say at this point, is, man, stay away from drop shipping. It's
Right.
such a, no, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Conversation for another day. If someone's like, why is he saying that? Trust me, don't do it. Talk to us later. But anyway, let's keep your story rocking.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I mean, I didn't have so much success with that, but it was cool to at least see like, okay, like people are going online and making money. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So next year, 2020, I went down the rabbit hole online with YouTube and private label and all of that with Amazon. So started exploring that a little bit. With COVID and everything, I don't know, it probably just wasn't a great time for me. I kind of started just focusing more on my studies, my school. I worked in sales a little bit, worked in web development in there a little bit. But fast forward a year, I got my stimulus check. So that was cool in early 2021. And it was actually a friend's mom who initially introduced me to the Proven Amazon course. So she's a Amazon seller and she knew that I was kind of looking into private label and all of that. And she kind of showed me the Proven Amazon course. So I kind of went down that rabbit trail, right? And got my stimulus check around that time, invested it in the pack, and that's been super helpful. So Since then, that was when May 2021. And it was just on the side. Like I was working as a web developer at the time, but I was just kind of playing with it while I was doing school and while I had my job and everything. But yeah, it started growing. And then it was around 2022. That's when it was like going enough. I've been doing it long enough. And it was early in 2022 when I decided to start doing it full time and just take it a little bit more seriously.
Wow. Okay. So you're full time. Is it still your primary income today?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like my life is not one that has a ton of expenses in it right now. So right now it's my primary income, and I mean, we'll get into I'm sure a little bit later into this year. This year's been really interesting, but yeah, so far I mean, it's my primary income and keeps me flexible. So
Yeah, for sure. It's a very flexible biz model. That's a lot of the
yeah,
appeal of it, right?
no,
Okay. So what are you selling? And maybe keep the timeline rocking. You said
yeah,
last year,
yeah.
2021, 2022. Talk about kind of scaling up into this, what it looked like.
Yeah, so I mean, I was mostly doing the replens model, and so 2022, I decided to start taking it a little bit more seriously. I actually hired a coach with you guys as well. I worked with Abe and Jonathan Bricker a little bit for some like PPC private label stuff that we were looking at a little bit. But yeah, most of the business was replens, and so got into that. Hired Abe, started working with Abe, and then it was really helpful. He just kind of like came in and helped me dial down a lot of the processes, kind of gave me some confidence to just pull the trigger on some of those decisions, like hiring a prep center down the line. That's around the same time I hired a VA to start outsourcing like the sourcing and a lot of that work. And so that really helped just free up some of my time with that. And it was really cool because I felt like I said, he gave me the confidence to pull the trigger on some of the decisions. And it was neat how in December last year, so around March 2022, I did 10,000. That's when I hit 10,000 in sales. But in December last year, I was able to hit 65,000 in sales.
For the
So that
month.
was really neat. Yeah, yeah, for the month.
Fantastic. Do you happen to remember about what your margins were, your net?
Yeah, the net was about 12%. So I remember pulling in around 6 to 7 ish in profit, six to
Yeah.
seven K in profit that month. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, not bad for a young entrepreneur just kind of dipping his toe in the water.
Yeah,
Six, seven
yeah.
thousand dollar net profit month. And
Yeah.
how much time did you put in to your business approximately? Like how much of your week was work in your business?
Yeah. So at that time, at that stage of my business, it was probably around like 20 to 25 hours a week. I was still doing
Hmm.
school, mind you, at the
Yeah.
time and all that. So, kind of had a lot on my plate. But that was the same month I graduated. I graduated college last semester. So I was kind of at a crossroads where I was like, okay, do I like keep doing this Amazon or should I go
Mhm.
get a job in my field and all of that? So decided to just keep rolling with this for a little while.
Got it. What was your field of study?
So my field was information systems. So,
Right.
coding and
Yeah,
all of that.
I think because we had a little chat and we've talked,
Yeah.
and I meet so many new coaches and students, but yeah, that's the degree I graduated with. I was one of probably the first graduating classes with a management information systems degree.
Yeah.
And
No, you had
I
mentioned
can't say I've
that.
used it a whole lot, but it
Uh-huh.
has enabled me to be able to speak geek, I guess, to programmers. And I
Hmm.
did a little bit of
Yeah.
programming myself, along the way. So I understand the computer world maybe, but that
Right.
hasn't been necessarily a big advantage when it comes to entrepreneurship or e-commerce necessarily. But yeah, good degree as far as being marketable if you do have to go get a real job at some point, I'd imagine.
Yeah, for sure. And it is nice. I like understanding the lingo and everything, in the tech
Yeah,
world and all that. So, it's
sure.
nice. And I felt like it helped me learn to think critically on a lot of different subjects and everything.
Right.
So
And I'm sure it's
overall, like,
changed a lot since I was in it
oh
too.
yeah, I
I mean,
feel it's
it
changed.
was 1992 for me, dude. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's changed since I was in it because Chat
yeah,
GPT came out like the month I graduated. So I'd never
right.
used that like before my degree. And now that's just changed everything in there. So
Yes. Really. And I mean,
yeah.
we were all talking about getting used to using email when I was in college. So there
Right.
you go, man. That's the difference. That's how much the world
Yeah.
has changed. But
Yeah.
those basic, we can call them, I guess, soft skills of being an entrepreneur and running a business.
Mhm.
And those, those are some timeless things. It's just the tools that change, a little bit of the terminology. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, well, it's exciting to have some young blood on the team, man, because as I mentioned in the introduction, you're on the coaching team now. You're just freshly on our coaching team, but welcome to the team, just to say it publicly. Great to have you on board as one of our latest coaches, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be here. Good to be here. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of help, a lot of value, a lot of good relationships that I've made here. So it's been super helpful. So glad to be part of it.
Yeah, well, it's an honor to have you, buddy. I hope it serves you well as you serve the great members of our community. But all right, so let's keep your story going. You had a killer December, right? Put some serious
Yep.
money in the bank.
Yeah, it was
And,
good.
and what's happened since then? Because we're several months into 2023. We're 9 months in as we're recording this, 10 months.
Yeah. So this year, this year's been really interesting, very different. So at this point, I guess I always forget about this, but I guess at this point I'm like 60% wholesale or so. In the last couple of years, I've built some relationships with a couple of distributors that have been really good for reselling. So yeah, right now most of my stuff comes from just like a couple of distributors that I've found in the mountain of different replens and products in the last year.
Right.
But yeah, as far as like, so December was really well, but then kind of pulled back because a lot of those other sites that I was buying from, some of those ASINs, a lot of them tanked and were not as profitable. So January did about 45K in sales. And since then I've pulled back a lot of those that inventory has gone down. But I was running some like the 80/20 analysis, right? Pareto principle. And I was finding
Right.
that like most of my profit was coming from just like a handful of these ASINs from the suppliers, distributors that I've been working with. So I kind of cut everything else out, scaled back to around I'm doing about 20 to 25K a month. It's interesting. My sales have gone down every month this year, but my profit has stayed relatively the same at around like
Yeah.
2,500 to 3,500 like
That's
K in
that's a
profit a
beautiful
month.
way to do the business, man. If
Yeah,
you're paying attention to your numbers instead of being on the hamster wheel and these break even
right,
ASINs that you shouldn't be excited about, but you are for some reason.
right.
Yeah, just go after the actual profit and know your numbers, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, so it's been great. I mean, because I more like same amount of money for a lot less work, right?
That's right.
So yeah.
So, how many hours
So
are you putting into it now?
so I honestly hate saying this in a way, but I about 3 to 5 hours a week right now, which is good. I don't hate saying
No,
that. It's just like
there's. I mean, that's a realistic picture of what's possible,
right,
and there's no reason to
right,
hate that. I mean, you could be putting a lot more time and doing a lot more. Obviously, is that
right,
why you're
right.
hesitant to share the number?
Well, yeah, because I mean, I put in a good 30 hours or so in like the different projects that I'm doing. But yeah, as far as like this, like yeah, the business, what's bringing in my
Mhm.
money and income and revenue, yeah, about 3 to 5 hours a week, and
Gotcha.
most of it's pretty automated. I have some great VAs who have been
Yeah.
helping me. So
You said
yeah,
you had a prep center dialed in. I mean, so yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's not a bad gig. What's your net margins running at now, approximately?
So right now, I just checked today. So last month had just under 12%, about 11.3% net margin, and that's great. It's pretty passive. I'm sure I could add some like a grand or so to that, but
Yeah.
I like the passive nature of it. So
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, for 3 to 5 hours a week, you're putting $2,500 a month approximately in the bank, a little more than that. And
yeah,
yeah, who doesn't want some of that? That's, and you could scale if you wanted to, but it's just a nice, healthy pace. You understand the business. You've got
right,
some other projects that are
yeah,
interesting to you that you're working on. Anything you want to share with us or that's relevant or that just to
yeah.
kind
I
of get to
mean,
know you a little bit?
yeah, as far as what's relevant, so one of the things that I'm doing, I can't remember her name, but I was at the conference and she talked about how like leveraging your virtual assistants and like what you already have, like how else can you make money with those? So, I mean,
Mm,
I have some great virtual assistants, so they've been helping me. They've been helping me in my business, but I'm like, well, I have them anyways. They've been helping some other sellers in their businesses as well, and that's kind of bringing in a little bit of income as well for me. So that's a project that I've been working on. Also, I'm super interested in the whole branding side of Amazon and
mhm.
PPC and all of that. So trying to dial in my skills a little more in that area to
Yeah.
um
Potentially pick up some clients at some point.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, the PPP model, partnering with other brands and everything like that, I think is really neat. So yeah, so doing all of that, and the travel has been really nice this year. That's been a big part of my year, is kind of like exploring the world, I guess.
Good for you, man. That's great. I think you've painted a nice vision of, kind of what's possible, the alternative options that become
Mhm.
available to you. You've got this nice steady stream of income, fairly automated, dialed in. You could scale it if you needed to, traveling, learn some new skills. You got this degree. You could put out
Yeah.
some resumes and probably have a nice gig at some point. Nice tech degree, right?
Right.
Assuming you got some decent grades there, that's always a path that's available.
Mhm.
But the thing I love about e-commerce is it tacks on so nicely to any stage of life.
Right.
Got a young guy and I just what I want to do with my life, want to travel, explore a little bit, maybe use my degree, tax on nicely. We got retired couples like, we got some extra time on our hand. What do you want to do? Well, let's tack this on. It fits into the cracks of your life, as I like to say, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to point out, you mentioned PPP, Proven Product Partnering, is a module inside the Proven Amazon course. We got some people in our community. That's all they do is help brands get on Amazon. There's an endless stream of opportunity there to have like an agency, and just even some of those replen brands. I bet you could go back to some of those brands that you mentioned that tanked even. Like, I kind of lost interest. If they've got so many sellers crawling all over their brand that they don't know what to do with it, odds are, unless they're a top tier brand that's already hired someone to manage Amazon, odds are they need help with Amazon. And you could just approach them and say, hey, used to sell your stuff. Noticed you got a lot of resellers. That's probably a pain in the butt. Can I help you with this? I could help
Yeah.
you dial this in. And those basic skills that you're learning, the pay-per-click and the branding skills, you don't need a lot of skill there. Actually, you don't need any of those skills yourself, Ben. You can just find someone in the community that does that all day and partner up with them, take a cut, and you don't do
Right.
anything. You're just bringing brands to their table, right?
Right.
But the opportunity is endless with this skill set that you've got. So well done, man. You're positioned very well for a very, very bright next 3 to 5 year future. We'll get back to the show in just a moment, but I have to tell you about a coaching program that's been around for about 19 years. It's coached almost 10,000 e-commerce business building warriors. It's got a team of about 60 coaches who are not only great teachers with tremendous hearts who love their students, but they are all succeeding at the business strategies that you hear taught on this show. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm talking about our coaching program. There's a link at silentjimdotcom. Get over there, get on our schedule, have a free consultation, zero pressure. We're going to help you build your business on that call. Sign up at silentjim.com, free consultation. See if our coaching program is a good fit for you, where you get to not only work one-on-one with one of our tremendous coaches, not only do you get that, you also get a reactive coach that you can contact at any point in time. That's a separate coach. You get all the training and content that we provide around here at no cost now and into the future. Tremendous list of benefits. I'm not going to go into all of them right now. silentjim.com. Click on the coaching link, sign up for a consultation. Hey, let's get back to the program. But the opportunity is endless with this skill set that you've got. So well done, man. You're positioned very well for a very, very bright next 3 to 5 year future.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been quite a journey. Definitely have learned a lot. And then, what you're saying about like other brands, and I know I'd been calling around to some suppliers earlier this year, and so many of them are just like, no, like we cannot take on more Amazon resellers. Like, please, no. So it's the PPP, like partnering with a lot of those people. I mean, it's a great way to go, I'm sure.
Yeah, you can fill a funnel very quickly with a lot of people
Yeah.
who are interested in hearing what you have to say as someone who understands the landscape of Amazon. As evidenced by Nate, my coaching director of 20 plus years, he goes to trade shows and he'll just go booth to booth to booth with these brands and talk to them. And he basically has a 100% rate of people saying, okay, yeah, we need your help. And it's a matter of who do you choose to work with?
Yeah.
Uh, we say, you got to make sure you only work with the people that you want to work with. They're well qualified. They're ready to go. They understand the challenge, but the number of people that are out there that need help from experienced Amazon sellers, you're going to find it's an endless supply of potential leads.
Yeah.
There's a huge shortage of people who know how to navigate the Amazon landscape.
Mhm.
I mean, just look in our own community. We've got hundreds of success stories we've interviewed on our show. These are people who really know Amazon, you included. Like, you know how to navigate the landscape, but you still have pain points and confusion and challenges and things you're not quite sure how to navigate. So you need the community to help you, right? Well, imagine if you were a brand. Who has time for that? You don't have time for that. But here's Amazon over here. 7 to 10% of all retail activity in the US is Amazon now. They're a monster that's got to be dealt with, right? So that presents opportunity. So you're on a great path. What other parts of your story have we not dove into? Or maybe there's some questions for me. Anything else you want to chat about? It's a very succinct story. I love that. I'd forgotten that you were one of our coaching students, so I'm
Yeah.
glad that went very well for you.
Yeah, I guess I don't know for anyone else out there who's just like looking to who traveling has been like I don't want to do this forever. I don't want to just live like a nomadic lifestyle
Yeah,
forever
I
and
don't
everything.
suggest
But
it. Yeah, not
yeah,
forever.
no. But yeah, at least like part of my youth though, it's been really nice. Like this year has been very just I don't know, it's been very inspiring to travel around and see some different places. And like for anyone out there who's thinking about it, like that like it's a great business to have to get into that. One of the biggest perks is just the points, right? From the
Yep.
inventory and credit
Yep.
cards, spending thousands of
Take your
dollars on
business in your pocket. If you got your
yeah,
internet, yeah,
yeah,
you're earning all
exactly.
these travel points. I use an airline credit card for all of our inventory as well. So it's been a long time since I had to buy a ticket for any. I mean,
Right.
I flew our whole crew, my kids, their wives, everyone, like a bunch of us
Yeah.
down to Mexico. Didn't pay for anyone's airline tickets
Yeah.
here
No,
just a
it's
couple weeks
insane.
ago.
Yeah, no, I get people all the time. They're like, "How do you afford all these like air tickets, like airline tickets?" And I'm like, "They're free, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
free, quote unquote, but
Yep.
yeah, I mean, they're part of the deal, they're included." So,
Hmm.
no, it's been really nice seeing some neat places
Where
this
all of you been? You've been out of the U.S. It sounds like.
Yeah, so in March, I'll spin off the list really quick. I went to Thailand in March and then Costa Rica after that. Been to Florida a few times. My parents live there, so visited them a few times. Mexico, I just got back from Peru, and then next month I'm going to Turkey, Greece, and Italy.
Wow.
So yeah, no, it's been
Phenomenal.
interesting.
Yeah, and there's something good. Our kids traveled quite a bit as they were growing up. We homeschooled all the way up. We traveled a fair amount. I mean, three of them were international adoptions, so we
Yeah,
traveled to country for all three, with kids in tow at different points of the game. So they've seen the world. But I think one of the big advantages that we didn't anticipate, and I think something maybe that you're going to discover, Ben, as well, that if it hasn't happened to you already, is just the appreciation you have for the opportunity that we have here. Because I'm sure you saw some people along the way, like, there's a whole different definition of
right.
poor
Oh, for
when you get
sure.
to places like Mexico. Poor for
Yeah,
most of the world is, I don't know if I'm ever going to eat food again, right?
right. Yeah.
Here in the US, poor is, very different definition. There's,
Oh, for sure.
8 food banks within walking distance of most people in the US. Poor in other countries means something different. We are truly blessed to be where we are. And for, I know, at least for me, it ignited inside of me, like, I'm not going to squander the opportunity of how blessed I am to be where I am and the
Yeah.
opportunities I have. Did you feel any of that? Like, does it kind of ignite you a little bit?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially, yeah, like Southeast Asia when I was over there in Thailand and everything. And yeah, some like Mexico, Peru. It was, yeah, no, you see, we are really blessed here. And,
Hmm.
we forget about it. But,
Yeah.
yeah, no, like you're saying, I just don't want to squander the
Hmm.
opportunities that we have here.
Yeah. It's a good word, man, for that. For that. That's kind of what it ignites. Like, I don't want to waste this time. You pull up the US dollar just about anywhere in the world, man, and it goes a long way. You're thinking,
Right.
wow, this is incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
when we were in Mexico, I gave this guy, I saw him out our window several times, just meticulously manicuring this set of bushes for like 3 hours. Like
Hmm.
stuff, an American landscape crew might have cruised through in 3 minutes with automatic equipment, and it would have looked almost as good. But this guy had, hand tools and just meticulously sweating in the sun. And I gave him a $20 tip as I was walking by.
Right.
That's no small change, but I mean, it didn't change my life. It changed it's certainly his day, if not his week. I mean, he just lit up. And so I was asking, like, how much did I just give him? Like, you just gave that dude like 2.5 days wage.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
what?
No, yeah, it's
So we're
amazing.
so blessed. And you talk about using virtual assistants now,
Yeah, I was
right?
just about to talk about that. Yeah. Like that's
Yeah,
what it's
nice transition.
yeah.
So how are you using? Are they Filipino?
Yeah, yeah, Philippines. So yeah, and they've been phenomenal. Just like they make. I was just on a call with one of them the other day, and she makes my life so much easier. Yeah, it's amazing, and it's a win-win. Yeah, we have a great work relationship, and yeah, and like what you're saying. I mean, yeah, I remember being over there in Southeast Asia where they are in the Philippines, and just seeing people like working so hard in the hot sun, doing construction, heavy labor, and there's a lot of demand for these types of jobs that Amazon sellers are providing to
Yeah.
people over there.
Absolutely. It's the one of those levers that, once you understand the concept of leverage, just a little bit of effort, lifting a boulder, you set up a
Yeah,
long enough lever, you can lift a lot of weight as an infant. Just push your finger, punk, right?
yeah,
So one of those levers that we have available to us is the US dollar is carries a lot of weight in the Philippines, where the average hourly wage is $1 per hour. Let's see, that's like the equivalent of our minimum wage, $1 per hour in the Philippines. You pay someone $3 or $4 an hour, you're paying them 3 or 4 times minimum wage.
Yeah.
And they're technically savvy. They've got a
Mhm.
westernized education. They speak English well. They love working for a US based or Western company, right? All tech based. They get to stay home and work instead of a two
Yeah.
hour commute to some job that pays them $1.50 an hour, right?
Mhm.
You can change their life. And you've got a very loyal, hard worker on your team that you can easily monitor and check in with. And they're doing a lot of the heavy lifting. That's the opportunity that we love. And actually, the podcast episode that I launched that was released just today as we're recording this. So if you go back in time, I think it's episode 713, 714, something like that, is about
Mhm.
using virtual assistants. And I kind of go through some of the things we've
Oh,
learned over the
awesome.
years. But yeah, so it's worked out well for you. What do you pay them? What do they do for you?
Yeah, so I pay him $4 an hour, and one of them, she's kind of done everything for me. She was the first person I hired, and I got lucky with her. She's just been phenomenal since the start. But she originally was sourcing, and now she still does a little bit of sourcing here and there with her free time. But for the most part, she's kind of just managing. She does a lot of inventory management, managing the flow of inventory. Like if things are getting lost with Amazon, she reaches out to them. So a lot of account back end management, things like that. And then she does some sourcing as well. And then I have one other who's just full time sourcing,
Hmm.
and that's what she does. And yeah, and it's been great. It saves me so much time. Yeah, that's how I get it down to that 3 to 5 hours a week for the
Yeah,
business. So
you really can automate it down. I mean,
yeah,
I'm at about that same number of hours, probably less than that actually. I've got a slightly larger team, bigger numbers, but they're doing
right,
all of it. Every aspect of this business model can be outsourced, leveraged using a virtual assistant or hiring someone in to run it for you, to where you really are just kind of you're checking your numbers. And you don't start off there. We have people come to us sometimes, Ben, and they say, "Okay, I've got some money. I want to build this thing up. I just want to pay someone and have them built." No, don't do that. That's not going to work. You've got to get the skills yourself. You got to hire the people yourself. You got to set up the systems yourself. But once you do, now you can step in and fill the role as needed. If one of your VAs can't do it one day, you know how all the pieces move, right? But that's the way we suggest. That's the way we coach. Is we're going to help you learn these skills yourself, and then you can train someone else, bring them in, add them to your team yourself. That's just the way that we do it around here. But it sounds like you've built a beautiful system. And any plans of scaling? Are you thinking you might start to scale?
so as far as like kind of the reselling and replens and all that, I guess the wholesale that I'm doing, I'm probably not looking to scale this part of my business as much. Like it's really nice. I've kind of like carved out my little niche corner of the reselling market, and I'm loving it. It's great. But yeah, as far as going forward with other things, I'm getting into building a brand right now. It's like the proven, the branded bundles and everything.
Absolutely. I'll
So
stick a link
yeah,
in the show notes to that. We've got a great class going. So you are part of that with Leanna and
I,
Nate,
I guess, well, yeah, I guess the class specifically I haven't dived into
but the
yet
concept.
or with that. But yeah, the concept and that, I have some good bundles in my arsenal that I'm looking to go and just brand those, kind of make it my own thing, add some value to it and scale those. So looking to, yeah, get rolling with some of those. So that's one of the projects, I guess, that I'm working on right now.
Yeah. You'll
Um,
you'll love that. And you should go through that content, by the way. It
right.
it you're gonna learn some really, really good things that if you just kind of stumble through it or kind of guess your way through that process, you're gonna make some mistakes that you'll wish you
Right.
hadn't made, I guess is a good way
Right.
to say it. I hate to see branded bundle sellers get some serious momentum and get excited and then the rugs yanked out from underneath them because of a little, box they didn't check basically for lack
Right.
of a better analogy early in the process. But yeah, huge opportunity there to take advantage of name brands, putting under your own bundle. And
Oh, for
one of the
sure.
one of the other great recent podcast episodes we did was with someone that I think we might be bringing her on the team. We're talking to her about it. At least she'll probably be at our event in May, our Proven Conference. Theprovenconference.com is her name. But she's built a 7-figure business. She employs all special needs adults, and it's all branded snacks in gift baskets. And it's
Oh,
not her
that's
brand; it's other people's brands. Like,
right.
and Amazon highlighted her as one of their great success stories at the recent live event they hosted here a few weeks ago in Seattle. Like, yeah, Amazon loves the model. It works. It's not rocket science. There's some things you want to do the right way for sure, setting it all up, but beautiful business model. So I'm excited to hear you toying around with it.
Yeah, no, it's been great, and a lot of that, I remember, I Jonathan Bricker, he was one of my coaches, and he helped me kind of go through like helium-10 and like keyword research and a lot of that. So that's
Mhm.
that's been helpful as kind of like the starting groundwork of getting into that. But I definitely do need to go through some of the content for that for the
Yeah.
bundles.
Yeah, it's all in there. It's a Facebook group, and you have access to it as a coach. You get access to everything now. So that's one big bonus of being on a team is, man, we got some great tools and resources and the training. Yeah, jump into that for sure. For the listeners' sake, like I said, I'll stick a link to Proven Branded Bundles. I think it's
Awesome.
provenbrandedbundles.com, but
Mhm.
you can jump in and get caught up on that content. It's being hosted as we record the sessions now as we're doing it, but it will be a module inside the Proven Amazon course eventually as well. But
Awesome.
all right, man. Well, what else is on your mind? Any other questions or any other thoughts that you want to leave with the listeners? It's been really good getting to know you a little bit, and I love that you're enjoying this season of life, and that this Amazon business has kind of helped to fuel
Yeah,
your
yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah, I guess like one question for you, I'd be super curious to hear kind of your thoughts. Like I said, I'm kind of in a transitionary season of life, but yeah, put yourself in my shoes, and then like where would you see yourself kind of going if you had to do it all over again?
Mm.
Starting from you got your little business and everything, but the world is your oyster as far as you're concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to come at it from a biblical lens. Okay. So hopefully that's as helpful to as many people as possible because
Yeah,
I know of no other lens through which to look at the world and make any sense of it. Right.
right,
I just see it as so timelessly true and tested and relevant and powerful. And it's shaped my youth and my decision making. So when I hear a guy your age, early 20s, kind of mid 20s kind of guy talking about these things, I'm assuming, that's, I haven't actually heard. How old are you, if you don't mind?
yeah, 24.
24. There we go. All right. So one of the smartest things you can do at this stage of life, from my vantage point, is find the right girl and get married, man.
All right, there you go.
Because let me just tell you, I'm entering this season of life where I'm just a couple months from having my first grandchild, and I'm going to be young enough to enjoy it.
Mhm.
If I'd have waited till I was in my mid 30s to get married, right? And then we waited a little bit to have kids. Now we're like, I'm an 80-year-old grandpa. But I don't want to be that guy, man. I want
Right,
to be young enough to enjoy all these beautiful seasons of life. And marriage is a beautiful thing with the right lady. So I'd encourage, be intentional about that. And, not to dive off into that topic too far, but that's one box I would check. And continue to increase your income streams. Just the more flexible you are, the more skills you have in e-commerce specifically, there's so many directions you could go.
right,
And I actually enjoy speaking to groups of young men in the, like, say, 13 to 25 window, numerous topics. But to kind of sum up one of my favorite things I could say, and this applies to all of us, but it really applies to guys in your age demographic, is just like you've kind of done with our organization, you've illustrated it. You're doing what I'm suggesting you should be doing. Form relationships with people who have been there, done that. Find creative ways to serve and work alongside them. We often refer to it as our list of a 3 a.m. list. The number of people who know, like, and trust you so much that if you called them at 3 in the morning, they'd pick up the phone and say, "What do you need, Ben?" You want that list to be long. You want to be adding names to that list constantly. The only way to do it is to serve well, maintain your character, go hard after it. Don't make your life about you getting what you want when you want it on your terms. That doesn't build your list. I know guys like that in their 40s, and they're some of the most sad, tragic people I know. No wife, no kids, no future, nice
right.
car, nice house, truly lonely. And they're
Yeah,
starting to think about themselves as 60-year-old dudes. Like, that's just kind of sad, man. Like, what do
yeah,
you got to show? Like, okay,
for
you're going to
sure.
die with some money in the bank. All right, good for you. You don't want to be that guy. You want to surround yourself with family that you love, that loves you, with friends, with people who would do anything for you because you've done it for them. You've been a man of your word. Those are the things to focus on. Build your relationships, starting with the most important one you'll ever have, and that's the girl you're going to love forever, man. So
Right,
that's my advice for a guy in your position. Not necessarily business advice because I can't see the future, but I do know e-commerce is exploding. Like, you're in the right niche
right.
for sure. I've got all my kids with at least one foot in e-commerce in some fashion
Yeah,
because you're
yeah.
crazy to ignore it.
Yeah, no, it's been good to me already, and I'm excited for what the future brings. And Yeah, what were you saying? Reminded me of I don't know if you listen to Zig Ziglar much. My dad
Oh, I
was always
love
way
Zig.
into yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm one degree of separation from multiple Zig points. I never got
Right.
the chance to meet him, but yeah,
No, yeah, I love what he said. Something along the lines of you'll have everything you want in life. Just help enough other people get what they want. And kind of what you were
absolutely.
saying is
Yeah.
ringing, echoing that to me.
Yeah,
And
I live my
yeah,
life by it. It's a biblical principle,
right,
basically.
right,
Yeah, it's impossible. If you serve well, everything's going to go great. Serve well, serve God, serve your family, starting with your wife, your
right.
kids, and serve through business. Serve others well. Yeah, help them get what it is that they need and want out of life. You're going to have a beautiful life, and that's been my life story. And
Yeah.
I can't imagine it going any better than it has. I mean, you're still going to have challenges and crazy
Yeah.
things. I mean, right behind me here, in the living room, our big living room in there, where the lightning hit, 2017, and total loss. Like this house that I'm sitting in right now had to be completely rebuilt. Like you can't predict.
Jeez.
Life's going to throw you curveballs, man. People are
Yeah.
going to disappoint you. Things are going to happen. But if you have that heart of a servant and you continue to say, okay, I'm here to make other people's lives better, you're going to be so blessed for it. And when you get to do it through business, man, and you're hiring people, you're changing lives in the Philippines, and you can travel and see and meet these people and bring them onto your team and find opportunities. Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful life ahead of you, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's a great piece of advice. Definitely.
Yeah, hopefully
Um,
throw it in the mix with the other things you're hearing from other guys that have been there, done that. And yeah, surround yourself with good friends, man, too. That's probably the one I would say is just, be intentional about that.
right.
Because another thing that it may have been a Zig thing, it may have been a Jim Rohn thing. I think it was probably Jim Rohn, but said if you want to know what your life's going to look like 5 years from now, all I got to know is what content are you consuming and who are you hanging out with, and I'll tell you exactly where you're going.
Right.
Right. So yeah, be cautious what you let in your head, the people you hang out with, that's your future, man. But
For sure. For
cool
sure.
hanging out
Yeah.
with you, Ben.
Yeah. You as well. Thank you. This has been, yeah, great. This has been great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy. Well, here anytime you're on the team, you're coach, and someone may be sitting there listening to this today, maybe even several months after, thinking, "Oh, I want to work with people like that." So yeah, give us a call. There's a link at silentjimdotcom. You can look at the coaching link and get on our calendar. Have a conversation. We love doing free consultations, talking about e-commerce. Maybe you want Ben as your coach. Maybe he resonates with you. Maybe I'm that old dude, like I don't get Jim, but that Ben dude, man, he's cool. I want to work with him. Hey, we love it. That's great. We got all types from all over around the world, different age demographics and educational backgrounds. And we got a coach for you. We got about 60 coaches on the team right now. Ben's one of our latest additions to the team, but love to hear from you if that's something that interests you. But hey, Ben, great job today, man. Appreciate your time, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
And hey, are you coming in May to our event? Do you know yet?
I don't know for sure yet. I mean my parents live out in Florida, so I
Right. You
might
mentioned.
be out that direction anyways. So
Try to time it out, man. Would love to
yeah,
see
for
you in
sure.
person that's Orlando, May 23rd through 25th. The website is The Proven Conference, theprovenconference.com. Yeah, so maybe meet Ben there. I'm definitely going to be there with our crew, God willing. A great lineup. Hundreds of people already registered, so be looking for details on the website there, and love to see you there, Ben, if you can make it, and the listeners too. Thanks for hanging out with us today. It was really cool hanging out with Ben, and thank you, Business Building Warrior, for spending some time with us. We really appreciate that. We'll have another great episode for you very, very soon. We'll talk to you then.